Good evening and welcome to our 23rd Sutta class as we bring suttas every Friday, 8 p.m. Sri Lankan and Indian time. And the suttas are delivered by Venerable Bulwala Ratanasiri Thero, and we are live stream on YouTube hosted by Sanghakaya Foundation. So anybody listening to the suttas live on YouTube, you are most welcome. And we are about to start our sutta class, which was postponed last Friday because of an emergency situation. Our dear teacher, Venerable Bulwala Ratanasiri Thero, is recovering from poor health, but despite that, he has joined us today in the class for the benefit of everyone. So I thank and much thank you and with much merit to you, Reverend Sir, for this teaching task, which is not easy. We are using technology in a very difficult time period for the country. So I thank you very much for continuing to deliver the suttas. So it is 8 p.m. now. So I invite our esteemed teacher, Venerable Bulwala Ratanasiri Thero, to start today's Sutta class, our 23rd Sutta class.
Good evening. Let's start our Sutta class. Today the Sutta is Aggivacchagotta. As you know, it is in Majjhima Nikaya. The commentary for Majjhima Nikaya is Papancha Sudani. Vacchagotta Sutta reveals Buddha's attitudes, the views of the time. So we have to study this sutta carefully to understand the views of the Buddha. One day, an ascetic called Vacchagotta paid a courtesy visit to Buddha. He wanted to discuss the 10 metaphysical questions dominated all over India at that time. Vacchagotta presented these 10 metaphysical questions to the Buddha. The Buddha answers in negative form. Aggivacchagotta, she was disgusted with the Buddha. He was not happy with the answers of the Buddha. Then Buddha explained him about the 10 metaphysical questions and his attitudes towards them. Before to discuss these 10 metaphysical questions, we have to understand what are those metaphysical questions. Metaphysical metaphysics in the sense means they are not empirical elements. They are not physical. They are mental. So these questions can be understood. The person who has developed extrasensory perceptions, clairvoyance. With clairvoyance, the person can understand. So Buddha refused to answer those questions because normal person can't understand them. So Buddha did not answer the question because Vacchagotta was a normal person. He could not understand. So the Buddha did not answer. Buddha had the four method in communicative approach. In answering questions, Buddha had four techniques. Ekansa Vyakaraniya. That means the Buddha answer at once, directly. That is Ekansa Vyakaraniya. And then Vibhajyakaraniya. The second method is that he divide the questions and answer, give the answer. Then Patiputtakaraniya means he asks questions from the person who asks questions. He asks questions and he create the discussions and give the answer. And the fourth one is he is called Tapaniya. He does not answer because the answer is not necessary to realize Nibbana, to cease dukkha, suffering. So the Buddha did not answer such questions. That is called Tapaniya. So Buddha, toward its 10 metaphysical questions, Buddha applied two methods, Patiputtakarani and Tapani. Let's see those. What are those 10 metaphysical questions? The first one was whether this universe or world, cosmos, eternal. Buddha, the Vacchagotta asked whether this universe eternal. Is it the true? Is it only the true concepts? Isn't others are wrong? In that way, Vacchagotta asked. Buddha answered no. Then Vacchagotta asked whether this world or universe not eternal. Buddha answered no. He asked, is it the only correct concept, view? Buddha did not answer it. Then he asked whether this universe is finite. Is there end or finite? Then the Buddha did not answer it. Then he asked whether this universe is not finite. Is it the only truth? In that way he asked, Buddha did not reply. Then Vacchagotta asked whether body and soul are the same thing. Whether body and soul are same. Is it true? Is it the true views? Then Buddha did not answer it. Then he asked, if soul is another one and the body is another one, is soul is another one, the body is another one. Buddha did not answer it. Then either the soul is one thing or the same, either soul is one thing or the same. In that way, he asked, but the Buddha did not answer it. Then the Vacchagotta asked, after the death of the person, will he be born? Then the Buddha did not answer it. Then he asked, will not be born the being? Buddha did not answer it also. Whether born or not born, in that way he asked these 10 metaphysical questions. The Buddha did not answer them. Now, when we refer those 10 metaphysical questions, we can understand throughout these 10 metaphysical questions, there is eternalism, Sāsvatavāda, and nihilism, Uccedavāda, and skepticism, Sansayavāda. So these metaphysical questions dominated all over these three dogmatic views. Then let us see why Buddha did not answer them. Vacchagotta asked, you did not answer any questions. Then the Buddha said, I did not answer these questions because they are not relevant to Sise's dukkha. They are of suffering. They are of desert of views. They are interwoven in views. They are subjected to suffering. They are subjected to desire. They are for anger, delusion. In that way, the Buddha said, what I explain you, this is matter, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. In that way, and this is matter. Now, this is the origin of matter. This is the cessation of matter. That's I answers those questions, such questions. This is pain, Vedana. This is the origin of pain, feeling. This is the cessation of feeling. And this is the origin of perceptions, sankhara. This is the cessation of sankhara And this is the way to say Sankara. That's how I explain. And this is consciousness. This is the origin of consciousness. This is the cessation of consciousness. That way I preach Dhamma emphatically. Buddha answered him. Then Buddha explained him about this 5 aggregates. These 5 aggregates, the origin of these 5 aggregates, how to cessate these 5 aggregates, and Buddha explained him how to understand those metaphysical questions. So you need not to bother about these metaphysical questions. You have to think of the empirical ones, Buddha said. Then the Buddha explained him about dukkha, suffering. This life is subjected to suffering. Jati, jara, vyadi, marana, soka, parideva, dukh, domnas. In that way, Buddha explained about the suffering and the cause of the suffering, craving. Buddha explained him. Then the cessation of suffering and the way towards the suffering. In that way, Buddha elicited the Aggivacchagotta's mind from the metaphysical questions, because the metaphysical questions is far away, it is far-reaching, it is far-fetched, can't be achieved. So Buddha gradually elicited the mind to the from the metaphysical questions to the physical ground. Then the Buddha began to explain his Dhamma. So the Buddha took example that is fire. Fire, he took that example because Aggivacchagotta was a ascetic who performed fire rituals. He sacrificed fire to have their salvations. So he knows about fire burning. So the Buddha asked, if you can see a fire is burning in front of you. Now Buddha asked, suppose there is a fire burning in front of you. Can you see that fire? Then Aggivacchagotta asked, yes, I can see the fire. Then do you know why this fire is burning? This fire is burning because of firewood. because of firewood or fuel or cow dung, the fire is burning. And then when the fire extinguished, when the fire put off, can you see the fire put off? Then Buddha asked, why that fire extinguished? Aggivacchagotta answered, because the fuel was over, there is no fuel, and there is no extra fuel. That's why that fire put out. He answered. Then Buddha asked, when the fire extinguished, can you tell me what directions it went out? What directions it went out? Then the Aggivacchagotta answered, it does not suit. That question does not apply. It does not suit. That means he can't say when the fire put out, what directions it goes. In that way, taking the fire as a metaphor, that fire burning, Aggivacchagotta knows well. So Buddha took that example as a visual aid, fire, and began to explain the Dhamma. Buddha explained, I am the person who sees rupa, matter. I am the person who has ceased feeling, vedana. I am the person who has ceased perception, sanya. I am the person who has ceased mental formation, sankara. I am the person who has ceased consciousness. So I am Arahant. Then Aggivacchagotta asked, what happened to such noble person after the death? To explain that question, Buddha took that fire example. Buddha took fire, burning fire, as an example and began to ask questions. That is Patipucca Karaniya. Began to ask questions from Aggivacchagotta and elicited its minds towards Nibbana. Buddha asked about the fire burning and extinguish fire. Buddha questions the Aggivacchagotta answered them, and gradually he understood. Then Buddha explained such noble person after death of such noble person, it happened just like a extinguished fire. The fire extinguished, but we can't see which direction, to which direction it went. We can't see. In that way, when that noble person dies, that what happened. We can't see there is reborn. We can't say there is not a rebirth in that way, because if we say there is rebirth, it comes under view. Buddha is not under view. So Buddha explained this sutta that he is not under view. In that way, the Buddha explained these metaphysical questions. This same 10 metaphysical questions brought one day one bhikkhu called Tulla Manunkaputta. He also brought these 10 questions. He said that if the Buddha did not answer these 10 metaphysical questions, he will leave the Buddhist order. So we can understand during the time of the Buddha, these 10 metaphysical questions dominated all over India. There were so many teachers, religious teachers. They answered those 10 metaphysical questions. Those who fell under eternalism, those who fell under nihilism, those who fell under skepticism. Like Purana Kassapa, one of the contemporary 6th teacher of the Buddha, Purana Kassapa answered those questions as an eternalist, Sāsvata Vāda, Purana Kassapa. And Ajita Kesakambani, he answered as a nihilist, Uchcheda Vāda. And there is Sanjaya Bellatiputta. He answered undoubtfully. He did not answer. It may be. The person may be born or not may be born, may not be born. In that way, he kept skepticisms. But Buddha did not fill those extremes. Buddha did not come to that views. He refused those views and he explained them. He teach his Dhamma empirical way, not the metaphysical way. This is dukkha, this is dukkha samudaya, this is dukkha nirodha, this is dukkha nirodha marga, the four noble truths. and the dependent origination. He explained through his doctrine of Four Noble Truth. He explained how to overcome these, these suffering and have emancipation or the Nibbana. Through his doctrine, dependent origination, he explained the method of how to overcome these sufferings. Now take Four Noble Truths: Dukkha, Samudaya, Nirodha, Marga. This Four Noble Truth is the nature of the being. It reveals the nature of being. The noble truth of dukkha. What is dukkha? That is, it is not merely suffering. Dukkha is unsatisfactory. How that unsatisfactory comes out? Jatipi dukkha, jarapi dukkha, vyadipi dukkha, maranampi dukkham. Apihi sampayogo dukkho, pihi vipayogo dukkho. Yampitan nalabati tampi dukkhang sankittena panchapada nakkanda dukkha. Now you can understand any human being. If we take any human being, poor person, rich person, powerful person, he has to undergo those suffering. Jatipi dukkha. When he is born, he have to undergo so many pains, sufferings. Jarapi dukkha. When he get old, he feels sorrow. He can't live without getting old, decaying. And then death and sickness. And if you took departure from your beloved one, you feel pain or suffer. Yampitan nalabati dukkham. If you lost what you want, then you feel they are suffering. Then in nutshell, we can say these five aggregates depend on unsatisfactory. That is, in that way, Buddha explained, then craving the cause for dukkha, craving. Kama tanha, bhava tanha, and vibhava tanha, craving. Then cessation of craving is nibbana. That is saupatisesa nibbana and anupatisesa nibbana. Then the way towards nibbana is following the eightfold path: be samma ditti, samma sankappa, samma vaca, samma kammanta, samma ajiva, samma vayama, samma sati, samma samadhi. In that way. Now that is Four Noble Truths. Then dependent origination, Buddha explained, avidya paccaya sankara, sankara paccaya vijnana, vijnana paccaya namarupa, namarupa paccaya. In that way, Buddha explained, due to the avidya, ignorance. Ignorance means without not knowing the Four Noble Truths. That means the without attaining to arahantship. That is the normal person, Pruthakjana person. Normal person, we are normal persons. Now normal persons Avidya Patya Sankara. They engage in wholesome activities and unwholesome activities. That means they engage in karma. So this karma becomes sankara. Avidya Patya Sankara. Sankara Patya Vijnanam. Because of sankhara, that karma, there arises consciousness, vijnana. That consciousness is the link to a rebirth. And that is how the sansara goes, the person goes. When the person understands the Four Noble Truths, he abolishes his avidya, ignorance, and because of that, as Arahant, he does wholesome activities. There comes Avyakata. Avyakata, according to Abhidhamma, they becomes Avyakata. They do not form consciousness. They do not form consciousness. Avyakata. So, in that way, the Buddha explained how Arahant ceases his karma and there is no rebirth. That's how the Buddha explained to Aggivacchagotta, when the fire extinguishes, when fire put off, where to go fire? What directions? Can anyone say it? No, anyone can't say. So that is the position of the Arahant after the death. So Buddha explained Aggivacchagotta. Then Aggivacchagotta was very happy. At last, Aggivacchagotta said, I understood well. You explained me. When the person is in dark, you lighted the lamp. When the person is nowhere, you showed the way to go. In that way, he praised the Buddha. He was very happy and he appealed that, please recognize me, please expect me as your disciples. Then he became the Buddhist Upasaka. Later he became Arahant. He was an ascetic. He performed fire rituals. He sacrificed fire according to his doctrine, but he gave up all those things and he became the disciple of the Buddha. Now, that's all. Today, I am not well, so I would like to stop my sutta lesson with this. Thank you very much for you listening to me. Blessing of the triple gems be showered upon you. Thank you very much.
Much merit to you, Venerable Bulwala Ratanasiri Thero, after being in poor health for almost a week now and still with fever. Thank you so much for being determined to conduct today's 23rd Sutta, and we wish you a very speedy recovery and bounce back to good health. with the blessings of the Triple Gem. Thank you and much merit to you once again. So if our listeners have any questions, please use the QR code that you see on the screen, or you can use the link that had been shared through the social media groups to send us requests for future suttas. If you do have a question, please feel free to unmute the microphone and ask your question. Or you can even send in your question through the YouTube channel in which we are live streaming right now. So we will wait for a couple of minutes to see if there are any questions. If not, we will conclude today's session. So I'm just checking to see if anybody's sending us a question. We do not have any questions on the YouTube channel or our Google form. So we will meet next week with another new sutta, same time. So this is the end of our, actually not 22nd, 23rd sutta class. Thank you for listening, and we wish you the blessings of the Triple Gem as well. So much merit, and thank you very much, Reverend Sir. Wish you a sweet recovery. I will end the session now.
Yes, thank you very much.